Frontline with Kortney Kenny, and I'm Tom Parisi, and today we got a great set of guests. It's the Frontline podcast where we talk about your North Bay Battalion. I'm Tom Parisi with Kortney Kenny as always, and today, number 24 in your programs, it's Ty Nelson joining us for his second tour of duty, Kortney? Third?
He's made
an official
friend.
friend of the show.
Yeah.
You're officially a friend of the show once you do your third tour of duty here on the podcast. So congratulations, good sir. How does that make you feel?
Wow, thank you. I'm honored. Definitely be on here 3 times. It's a great time, and I enjoy doing it with you guys.
I'm saying, hey, 15 points in 16 games to start off your OHL career. I mean, what's working?
Our team, we've been playing amazing lately, and definitely the players have been making it easier for me to get some points up there and just playing with everyone. And now we're starting to really gel together and have some really good games lately, and we've been building momentum. It's definitely helped me out a ton.
Ty, I wanted to ask you about, today's Monday, so yesterday's game against the Wolves. You guys completely, from the moment of puck drop, dominated them. And you, with two goals, what was it like getting your first multi-goal game out of your belt?
It was great, but I think it was just an all-around team effort. I mean, from puck drop, like you said, we were just buzzing. We were pretty mad that we didn't win Friday night. We played a great game. Losing a shootout, obviously, it sucks. So we had that chip on our shoulder, and playing Suds, our division rival, we really needed to beat them, and we really wanted to. So, I mean, everyone was just playing really hard and making the right plays. And I was fortunate enough to pop 2, which was great. But I definitely got to give credit to our power play. We were definitely buzzing around that night, and our whole team as well.
You know, for years, the power play was not good in North Bay. Like, it was kind of a weak spot, at least since I've known the team. But now all of a sudden things are clicking. What's changed? What's different?
I just feel like, you know what, with all the players that we have a great group and a great core, and definitely the coaches have put in a great power play structure in place. And then now it's just about gelling and capitalizing on it. And I thought we've done a great job so far of doing that, and we're going to continue to work on it and keep getting better.
We talked short, or I believe the game that you scored your first goal, we talked post game, but then and you called it that you said that Uli calls it a twisted wrister. So he was calling it that yesterday in the post game scrum as well after you potted those 2 goals. Explain to people who might not know, what is a twisted wrister?
It's basically just taking a quick wrist shot on net and just snapping it there as hard as you can. Just trying to get it through with traffic and just trying to get pucks on net.
How often are you practicing that? Because it's not easy. I mean, players are jumping in front of things. Goalies' pads are basically boxes strapped to their legs nowadays. It's hard to score. How do you practice?
Just every day on the ice. We do a lot of de-shooting drills, and then just trying to find like little holes like in practice. If a forward's coming at me, I'll try and miss a shin pad just by an inch. And then like the next rep through, I'll try and miss it on the other side. So it's just a lot of practice, like anything. Practice makes perfect.
Is it good? Is it easier or harder when your goalie is 6'100" and you get to practice on him every day, then you play somebody else who's not?
No, you know what? I mean, it's definitely a lot harder because I know Joe just stands there and hits him in the pads. And then when he goes down, I think he covers out about half the net being that tall. But yeah, no, it's awesome. And they're all great guys, and they make it really challenging in practice, which definitely helps out a ton.
I wanted to ask, obviously you're getting the sense and getting to know you over this last little bit. You're obviously a team first guy, but your name was on that leaderboard of top scoring defensemen in the league so far. And what's crazy about it is the one guy's an overager and everyone else has already been drafted. That's on that list. And here you are, a quote unquote rookie in the OHL, you know, coming in and being in the leaderboard for defensive points scored. What's that like to see your name on that list?
Yeah, it's definitely an honor. You know, there's some great names up there, but like I said, I definitely got to give credits back to my team, and they're definitely making a lot of it easy on me, just getting those points, playing with everybody. It's been great. And like I said, it's a great feeling, but we're just going to keep pushing and just put that in the back of the mind and keep going. Just looking to do whatever the team needs to do to get that W.
Do you feel like it is actually a rookie season at all?
I mean, you count it as a first year season, I guess, right? It's your first games in the league. But I mean, now like as we play on, it's getting a lot easier, and like the transition, and you tend to get to know the league a lot more. But yeah, I guess you technically count it still as your rookie season, first year.
I wanted to ask, and this is kind of a tough question to push your way, especially since he's not committed, but your buddy Adam Fantilli, the rights were traded to North Bay. Have you not necessarily nudged him in the right direction, but have you talked to him about North Bay and all that fun stuff?
Absolutely. I definitely dropped a few little, hey man, like look at this. Sent him a few pictures and stuff. Just, just getting him to maybe see some things that he didn't know, or just tell him like he was asking me about like little things, and I was just telling him like the honest truth about North Bay and how I love it here. How I couldn't see myself playing anywhere else. Amazing coaches, general managers, our owners are all amazing, and just how much I enjoy it here and how much of a good thing we got going on here.
How did it feel start of the season when there was talks? Heck, you might even be you are part of the leadership group on the team already in we're not going to call it a rookie year, your first year. I mean, that's not easy to do.
No, definitely not. But I think we have a great leadership group on the team, and there's definitely more guys in the room that could have been on that leadership group. And I'm just happy that they counted me as part of it. And you know what? It's just in my game, and I've done it ever since I was a little guy. I've always loved to be a leader, and it's just who I am as a person. But like I said, I'm sure we could have had 6 or 7 more guys added onto that leadership group. That's how much of leaders we have on the team. And I think they made great decisions with our leadership group, and it's been working out really well.
I wanted to ask about your fellow first overall draft pick in the North, Quentin Musty. Whenever we've kind of got the vibe from you is that you kind of, when you go head to head with him, you obviously want to come out on the winning side. And before yesterday's game, both you and him only had 1 assist in the matchup, but now you're coming out ahead with the 2 goals. What's it like going head to head with him? And is there a bit more giddy up in your step going against someone like him?
No, I mean, yeah, it's fun to go against him, especially playing in Sudbury. And I do know him fairly well. He's a good buddy, but you know what? I think it's the same approach every night. It's just you go in there, you do your job, and you do whatever you can to help the team take the W. I mean, going against him, he's a great player. Obviously, he's very dangerous on the ice. So you're a lot more cautious when he's on the ice. But I find I just bring the same approach to every game. Just got to do your job day in, day out, and continue to do whatever you got to do to help the team be successful.
When you're on the ice, because you just go. I actually got to see you live in the Sioux twice in a row, and it was just a pleasure to watch you skate. But do you have any kind of signals with your defense partner, like say, "Hey, I'm going, hang back"? Like, how do you guys talk it out?
No, it's more of just the trust thing. You know what? When now playing with Winslow, we're both very offensive defensemen. So when he's going, I know I'm going to cover, and then when I go, I know he's got my back covered, and it's a lot of trust. And he's a great defenseman, and I love playing with him, and even with all of our other defensemen, because I know like we've rotated through some D partners, and I love playing with every single one of them because they're all great defensemen, and they like you can trust. You just have that mutual trust between each other, and you know when one person's doing something, you got your other D partner there to support you.
Well, is it a different mindset than when you're playing, instead of playing with Avery, let's say you're playing with Tanias or something like that? Because, there's a really good chance he isn't going too far. Do you just kind of know, okay, I got this every time?
No, honestly, it's that, like it said, it's the same. It's the mutual respect. If you looked at him, Tanias on Sunday, for example, oh my goodness, the offensive game he had. Wow, he was making amazing moves. So, like I said, it's just a respect thing and trust. And when he's going, you're covering. When I'm going, he's going to cover. So, I mean, it's great. I love playing with every one of our defensive partners that we have.
I want to turn the clock back a little bit to when we had you on last. It was just before the start of the season, and we had you and Wakely on and asking, what's it like getting accustomed to school and OHL? And you were laughing because you were in the spare situation and everything. Now you are going through the school and playing at the same time. Is it like, what's it like now to get the full experience of the school day and the hockey day?
It's definitely a lot longer than not being in school. But I mean, no, it's fun. I mean, you're going to the rink in the morning, you got to work out, and then you're in school for 6 hours, 5, 6 hours, and then you're to the rink, right? So your day's packed, which I love it. I'd rather have my whole day packed of doing things than just have like a workout in the morning and you're don't know what to do for 2, 3 hours till practice. So I really like the school and like going to school and having my day fully packed. It's definitely a lot longer, but I mean, it's a lot more fun. And two, being in class with all the boys makes it a lot easier.
We were going to
Probably.
probably go ahead.
I was just gonna make a comment that it's probably a lot more fun than last year when none of that was happening. So
Yeah, definitely. Just being in school too is a lot better than being online.
absolutely.
Kortney and I usually go over the weekend's games, and I know we will, but there's one thing I wanted to get your take on. Did you see Alex Lukin getting into a fight? Like, did you see that was going to be a thing?
Uh, we honestly we knew after the hit. Unfortunately, we all hope that kid's okay, but we definitely thought right after that hit that there was going to be a fight in Sudbury, but there wasn't. And then we knew like our game at home was going to be a lot chippier, but I mean, we just seen him as a big hitter, right? Because he hasn't dropped the gloves yet. But my oh my, when he dropped those mitts, wow, those are haymakers, and he's a big boy. Like he's solid built. So I mean, that was a great fight by him, and he threw some haymakers.
I think he.
Along that, go ahead, Kortney.
I was sorry, Tom. I was gonna say I think he fought Musty too, which was the surprising part.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Musty put up a good fight. And you know what? Kudos to him. First fight in the O. Same with Lucan. I thought it was a great fight, but man, how he stood up after some of Lucan's punches. I mean, that's like just full force. Like, kudos to him for that.
Along those lines, who like we always watch from up high or in the stands. Who, from your point of view, is more impressive than we have seen so far on your own team? Someone, under the radar is like, geez, that player is insanely good, but no one knows it.
You know what? I think we have a lot of like really hidden gems. If you're looking for like a straight team guy, I gotta go with Cam Govro. I mean, he just comes in and someone messes with you, you know he's going for him. He's got your back. He's just a cold meat and potatoes type of player. It's amazing. He's such a team guy, and everyone loves him. And then you got other players like, I know like our third and fourth line, they're the younger guys, but you can see how well they've been playing lately and how well they've been gelling. And you can just see like, wow, in a year or two, they're going to be those guys, the Cole and the Petrov and all them when they've moved on, because we have so many skilled players. It's amazing.
Back to yesterday's game, just talking about the chippiness and all that stuff. After Lucan drops the gloves, did you guys think, okay, that's probably it? And then there was two more in the game. Like,
And honestly, I don't think we thought that was it. Obviously, it started getting a little bit more chippier after that. But I mean, I don't really think we expected two more fights. Thought maybe a few more hits, maybe a few cross checks. But I mean, hey, it definitely got us into it and got the crowd going. That's for sure.
yep, didn't work out in Sudbury's favor, that's for sure. And as all us in North Bay are more than okay with that. I can tell you that for sure. When it comes to playing in the league and playing against a rival like Sudbury, we're going to see them a lot this year because it's just the East and stuff like that. Sudbury, Barrie. We haven't seen Niagara yet, but that's about to change this weekend, and stuff like that. Like, what's it like going into these rivalry games where you're going to be seeing these guys and getting familiar with them, as the season goes, and it's probably come March is going to be a bloodbath.
I mean, we looked at it as okay, we're playing these guys 12 times in the year, and these are points we need to win, and that every game we're going in there with the expectations of winning, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And obviously, like it gets a lot more chippier as the game goes on, and the more games you can see, the rivalry is getting even bigger now because we're playing them so much. But you know what? It's like every game you're going in there, you're going to do your job just to help the team win, do whatever it takes, and then hopefully come out on that 2-point side.
And then you guys are hitting the road an awful lot to start the first half of the year. How important is it to maybe, or is it easier to start off on the road? You guys gel a little bit together, and then you can just hammer out the rest of the home schedule.
I enjoyed the road. I mean, I've been on a few of the road trips. I've gotten to know a lot of the guys better. Obviously, being packed on the bus for 5-6 hours going up to the Sioux for say, it's a long bus ride. So, I mean, there's only so many movies you can watch. So you're out there talking to the guys, hanging out, playing some games on your phone together, playing cards. I know on our way back from Owen Sound, me, myself, Rose, Russell, and Jackson were all playing euchre on the bus, and it's like, wow, this is the first. Like, I know it was early in the season, and Jackson just got back from Nashville camp, so we weren't really like tight then. So just getting to hang out with all the guys, it's a great experience, and I think playing on the road early definitely helps you get used to it and gets you helped into adjusting to getting off the bus, knowing what you got to do to get your legs going and get into the game early. So I think it's a great thing that we started off on the road early, and I know the boys love playing at home. So in the final stretch there after Christmas, when we're playing at home a ton, it's gonna be really fun.
I know on the road front, we finally been able to ask this question of Shanias and Wakes, and now we'll be able to ask this of you. A lot of the players pick Sudbury and Peterborough as their least favorite places to play. You've gotten to play in those two rinks now. What are your takeaways from them? And I know you haven't played in every rink in the OHL yet, but where do they rank in the rankings of rinks that you have played in?
I mean, Peterborough, it's got to be down there. Sudbury, I mean, it's an old barn, and I love the old barns type of things, but I mean, since it's your rival, you got to put them down there. But I think, you know what, one of the hardest places to play in is the Sioux.
Oh yeah,
Like they have a nice arena, but their fans are on you constantly, like all game long. Like it's pretty funny, like how like engaged they are and like how they're just all over you. I mean, even like comparison, like we were in Peterborough, and this is after like the ceremony that we had there for Remembrance Day. So they're just walking off the ice, and there's like 3-4 guys just ripping me about my hair. Oh yeah, like we can find your hair in the grocery store, Mr. Noodles, like just shredding me about my hair. And you know what? I got to put the Sioux fans like worse than that. Like they are always on you every time you walk in or out.
They're mean. I mean, up on the far side, I was at the last games I was at was when North Bay was in town. Ever since then, it's been a COVID nightmare around these parts. But there's three old ladies who have season tickets who sit on the far side. They knit the entire game. But as soon as something happens, they put down the knitting and they watch and they swear like sailors who hacked off their thumbs. Oh my God. I had the privilege of sitting next to a playoff game once. Someone gave me some tickets. We went to go watch the game, and oh my God, the entire game. I can't even repeat the things they'd said, probably even off camera. It was just the foulest, dirtiest things you could think of were coming out of these people's mouths, and I couldn't believe it, of all the people. But it's true. He's right.
I mean, kudos to them. They love their team. So
A little much.
I love it. But when do they still skate out through the doghouse?
No, they not this year, not when North Bay was in town. There was
they
nothing
just
inflatable. Yeah, it's just the smoke machine with some red lights and some
Yeah.
white strobes and stuff.
All right. Well, you haven't experienced the Sioux until they skate out through that inflatable doghouse.
It looks more like a rat. Like the Greyhound looks more like a rat. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean,
What-
their entrance is pretty cool. Coming out with the smoke and the lights and the music and stuff.
They change entry songs every period.
Wow.
Well,
Anyhow,
it's pretty cool. You're coming out underneath the tank. Come on.
Oh no, like don't get me wrong. There, ours is like I think like not even being biased just because we play on the team, but like just looking at it, like I think our entrance is probably one of the best in the league.
oh, hands down. I've seen all the other entrances and it's not even close. Nobody comes. You get an inflatable tank, you win every time.
And you got the fighter jets going on. Oh yeah, you can
The
hear.
strobes matched up to the machine gun noise. They still do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Tom, you got to get down for a game, my man.
I do. I really miss it. I really
It
do.
gets you fired up. You got the kids yelling down at you as we're running out. It just
There's only
gets you
one
going.
thing I would change: a different goal horn.
Goal horn or goal song?
Goal horn. The song is pretty awesome. It's the goal horn, the siren. I think a horn would go better, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, I love it. I think it kind of rattles their team a little more. It gets under their skin. I think it's a great goal.
That's fair. And he's the one that's putting the puck in the net, so I'll go
I'm
with
saying. I mean, I usually used to talk over it, so it's what do I care?
when but speaking of back to Sudbury's ring and stuff, what's your thoughts on the Wolf coming out when they score?
Embarrassing.
Definitely when we go there, our goal is to like not let that wolf leave its corner.
Yeah.
I think that's enough to say about the wolf there.
When was the last time they vacuumed that thing?
I don't know.
Because I swear the first time I ever saw it go down, my dad was the one who pointed it out to me. He's like, don't, like when you're up there, look on the left-hand side for a wolf going across the rafters. I said, you got to be crapping me. There's no way that, and sure enough, there was, and little dust particles fell onto the ice. It's a lot of fun. So I'm anxious to see how often that thing gets vacuumed or changed out or something.
So Ty, we're looking at the week ahead. You got Ottawa, a rematch against the 67s on Thursday. What do you expect out of that game, especially the way that you guys lost that game in Ottawa? You know, it was heartbreaking fashion. What do you expect in the rematch here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got a chip on our shoulder like it was against Sudbury. I mean, like we played hard that game. Dom played amazing. The whole team played like very well that game. To lose the way we did, obviously it hurts. So I know we're gonna come out with a chip on our shoulder and we're looking to win. And we're gonna do anything it takes to win. And just follow that up with after a great effort we had this weekend.
I don't
After
want
that,
to.
you go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tom.
I was going to say after that, you guys are back in Oshawa. It's going to be the first time I think they make it down there, right?
Yeah, that'll be our
I mean,
first trip to
that's not an easy place to play either. What's the prep like? Or do you prep maybe after, like there's only less than 24 hours between games. How do you prep for something like that?
Just as soon as you get off the ice, you get in the gym, you do your flush. Then you get into the cold tub, hot tub, just trying to get the muscles recovered, and then get a good night's sleep. And then you wake up in the morning, and then you dial in, you get going. It was a pretty tough game against them the last time we played them as well. You know what? We thought the game could have went the other way around. Their goalie played amazing. But I think, you know what? Like the Sudbury and the Ottawa game, we got a chip on our shoulder and we're coming and we're going to win.
I wanted to ask, and I don't want to necessarily relive bad moments and stuff, but being the guy that's out on the ice when that penalty shot is called in Ottawa, or any mistake really that ends up in the back of the net, what goes through your mind when stuff like that happens as a defenseman? How do you get it out of your mind and continue on with the game?
Just like, yeah, it happened. You got to accept it. You take blame, obviously take responsibility for whatever happened, but then you got to just, okay, let it go. You got to let it go. It happened. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it now, but try and make up for it. So I like to just sit on the bench, grab a quick sip of water, and then just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, try and concentrate on the moment now. Like what is happening now, that's what you can control. You can't control what happened. You can't control what is going to happen. So you can only control what's happening at this very moment.
You know, one thing that's made leaps and bounds since Kortney and I played a lot of youth sports was like mental health in sports. And I'm sure something like that can weigh heavy on someone's mind. And I'm sure the coaching staff and whoever else helps you guys kind of put that aside. You know, you analyze it quick. This is what went wrong. We'll fix it, move on. You know, how important is that to you and the rest of the guys on the team to have that kind of trust when it comes to your mental health?
I think it's huge. I know mental health's been a huge aspect for hockey players now, and we work with Mark Bruner. He works out of Nipissing University, and just working with him, he's taught us a few breathing exercises and just talks to us about mental health. And like he'll dial in on like certain things, certain weeks, So like one week it'll be about leadership, then the next week it'll be about trust, and then so it's that way. It's just you're working with him and you're understanding what he's telling you, and then you can use that. And it's just funny how you see how much it relates to the game, and just being able to use those things. I know I use it a ton. I love using that type of stuff, especially when something bad happens. Say we go down, it's just breathe in, you let it go, and then you keep going. I'm sure most of the guys on the team use it, but I think it's an amazing thing that we have access to, and it's definitely something I would recommend to many players.
It's probably just a good way to think about life in general too. I mean, not just on the rink. I mean, this game of hockey is only 60 minutes. The rest of your life is the rest of your life. So it's probably a good outlook just to have in general, I would say.
Absolutely. That's why, like, I think I always go back to that motto that it's hockey. You can learn life lessons from hockey. And basically, you'll see someone try and focus in something on hockey. But then, like you said, you can just see it relate to how it actually relates outside of hockey to your actual life.
Ty, I wanted to ask you, you've gotten out to a couple of, you had a skate yesterday with, some Timbit players after the game. What's it like, being a guy in the community that has that kind of outreach and to be able to go out and give your time like that and, hang out with these kids that I'm sure that's going to have an impact on them as hockey players and people.
I love it. I think it makes my day. Just seeing the kids out there having fun. I remember when I was a little kid and I'm sure there was a player or two, obviously I can't remember because I was young, that did that. And it's all about paying it forward. And you know what? I think that's probably my motto that I try and live by is just paying it forward. I was grateful as a kid to have great mentors and people who would help me out like that in that ways. So I just try and do whatever I can for the community just to pay it forward and do whatever I can to be a role model, be a leader, try and just make a kid's day.
Well, I can tell you the fans of North Bay are certainly happy to have you. And I'm sure those kids that you were out there on the ice are very happy to have you out there as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, Ty, we really appreciate your time this evening. Friend of the show, officially. You and Wakely now can battle it out to find out who's going to be the best friend of the show.
Whoa. What qualifies as best friend of the show?
That's a good question.
Is that 10? Is that double digits?
Yeah, we'll go with 10.
Oh, boy. Denny's got the inside track, though, just a heads up.
Yeah. I think Denny's probably going to outpace everybody by the time it's all done, said and done. But yes, we really do appreciate your time and coming on the podcast today.
No worries. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Anytime.
All right, we got to say thank you again to a guy who's probably going to be on the next mayoral ballot. You can probably find him giving advice at the top of mountains in his battalion jersey. It's defenseman number 24, Ty Nelson, who was our guest. So we thank him for becoming a friend of the show as well. 3 tours of duty for that kid on the show already, and hopefully we'll get to more. Kortney, we got to figure out next, though, how many I like calling them tours of duty, by the way.
Yes.
It'll take to get to being a best friend of the show. Maybe 10, maybe when you get to double digits.
Yeah, we got to count how many times Adam's been on because he's got to be close to that.
I don't know if we just put a moratorium on it. Like it's like management can't be employee of the year or employee of the month type of thing.
It's like that episode of The Office where Jim does the employee of the month and then he gets himself.
And then his wife. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I do have to say, I don't want to take it away from him, but Ty's first appearance was when it was 5 for chirping. That still counts,
true. Right? But we were only that for like what?
Couple of months,
maybe like 5 or 6 episodes.
It was 10 because episode 10 was Justin Brazo, and then we flipped to the front line.
Right. Then we grew up.
Yeah, it's like a Pokemon evolving. It's just what happened.
I could have made a really nerdy joke right there, but you know what? At the stake of my own integrity, I will stop. That's all I have to say.
That's fair.
You think booed you? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's us doing the podcast, so whatever. They had to know what they were getting when they signed up for it.
I'm saying at this point in time, we always kind of go over some battalion news. So let's jump into it. Joe Verbetic, goaltender of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to do a whole lot to earn it, but he did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like 14 shots against Sudbury, but he still picked up the shutout. And there was a couple of tough chances in that game. Goyette came in on a breakaway, and Joe stopped him pretty good. That was the thing about the game is, yeah, Joe wasn't necessarily needed a lot, but when he was needed, he was there. That was probably the most complete game I've seen the Battalion play, and in a long time, probably since year 1 or year 2. Like, oh my goodness. And then yeah, the game against Sudbury on the Friday, Joe did his part, and got the team to overtime. And as you heard Ty Nelson said, it sucked to lose it in a shootout. And I feel like that's just the feeling that a lot of people have about the shootout in general, is that it sucks in general. So
My dad's always been a big proponent of getting rid of the shootout ever since the first one. And if you remember, Kortney, the first ever shootout was
Yep.
between Ottawa and Toronto.
Yep. My boy Ed
And
Belfour in that.
boy, did he ever look confused.
Yeah, he was like,
Uh,
I don't know what's happening.
it didn't look good. And I mean, like, Toronto shooters was like Eric Lindros past his prime, and like
Yeah.
rookie Alex Steen, and God knows
Yeah.
who else. Jason Allison was another one.
Yep. And it's
But
weird because Jason Allison actually had a decent year for the Leafs
Yeah,
that year,
great
and then he
year.
just disappeared.
61 points in 66 games. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a pretty good year for a guy who hadn't played in 4 years. But
Yeah.
getting back to it, my dad always hated the shootout ever since then. And he's always said it's just a skill competition. You get the crappiest team in the world, but if you get a guy or a couple guys who are decent at handling a puck, unlike our friend against the Ottawa 67s,
Shots fired.
I'm doing it.
I love it.
I'm doing it.
I'm with you on this. 110%.
I don't like the shootout. I'd
No.
rather it end, just keep overtime going. 3-on-3 solves it more often than not. Just
Yep.
extend the 3-on-3, quite honestly.
You could probably get to 10-minute, put the 10-minute 3-on-3 period in overtime, and the chances of you getting past the 5-minute mark anyways are slim to none.
Oh God,
Um,
yeah. Something's gonna happen. There's gonna be a penalty or what have you. So yeah, it's gonna get fixed.
But so here's the thing about shootouts that I can see the argument as to why it's in a regular season game and not the playoffs. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot
Could
of
you
sense.
imagine winning the Stanley Cup with that?
But that's the thing. You'll see double IHF things like the World Juniors and stuff decided by the shoot, and that it should never be. It
No,
should
I
never
don't.
be for something like that.
There's a lot of international rules I'm a big fan of, like when it comes to body contact.
Yep.
And maybe a little bit with the crease rule where you can't like be in it type of thing. I don't
Oh, like
mind
Red
that
Hall.
one. One I don't like is you can't win a face-off with your skate. The icing, I'm glad it's automatic icing, no hybrid crap.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's one that bugs me to the max is, they have to decide things via shootouts. And
It should never be.
like, no offense to other countries with decent hockey programs, but let's just say, like in the last Olympics, when North Korea was in there, or South Korea, sorry, was in the games, or I believe it was Korea as a whole, doesn't matter. You get them, let's say, against Canada, and which should be, a pretty fairly easy win for Canada. But if for whatever reason it gets to a shootout, all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's 50.
you never know.
It's literally toss a coin and who can be the best skilled person. That said, I saw something interesting. Speaking of skills and stuff, I enjoy the skills competition night of the NHL All-Star game.
I used to.
Well, here's my thing that I think could fix it is it'd be like baseball where you don't have to be in the All-Star game to do the home run derby. Why you don't have to be in the All-Star game? Why don't you just get the best guy who has the most accurate shot? He might not be an All-Star, but bring him in.
There's a good chance he might be.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
and
like
chances
fastest
are
skaters and stuff like that.
Well, exactly. Like chances are Connor McDavid's probably still going to be the fastest guy out there. But why not bring in someone else who like Ilya Mikheyev, who beat him out for the puck battle last year in the COVID season? He's pretty fast. I mean, but he'll never be an all-star unless the Leafs are awful again and they had Leo Komarov go as their all-star guy that one year. But anyways,
really terrible.
Yeah,
When it's between him and like old Brad Boys. Tell me.
Yeah, not the Brad Boys that you can use to get Owen Nolan back. But then Owen Nolan would be
No.
even worse. So
he still had a couple good years though after that. Anyway,
yeah, playing for
one
Minnesota.
thing I do like
weirdly enough.
about the skills, I know we're off topic.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about the skills competitions though is how they're starting to incorporate the women's side, and they're
Yes.
starting to get alumni. That's one thing I liked about the NBA All-Star. They've been
Yes.
doing that for years
Yeah.
because you're all doing the same thing.
Yes.
And so, you ever played or watched like those NHL alumni games when they come to town?
Yes.
I've had the privilege to play in one once,
How'd
and
that go?
I was 25 and I was just getting over a pulled groin or torn groin, sorry. So I was a bit slow.
Yeah.
I did score a goal in that game though, and I did
Wow.
participate in the skills competition as a breakaway specialist. No,
You can have
but
that on your resume. I'm pretty
I
good at
should.
breakaways.
And I want to use breakaway specialist technician or something like that. But anyway, I'm playing against these guys, and I remember who was it? I think it was former New Jersey Devil and Montreal Canadian, amongst others. Stéphane Richer was playing.
Okay.
My computer's just falling all over the place. Uh, and like he's considerably older than I am, but man, could they still pass and shoot? And they had like 15 less guys on the team,
Oh wow.
and they were beating the living daylights out of us.
Yeah. There was one NHL alumni game here. This is years ago, back way before the Gardens had renos. And Gary Lehman was the big one on the NHL alumni side. And I really wanted to get his autograph because he's a Toronto Maple Leaf alum. I believe he was traded to Calgary in that Doug Gilmour deal.
You'd be correct.
Well, anyways, bringing it back a little bit to the North Bay Battalion. Don't worry, we're probably going to get off topic again. Plenty of other
I got
times.
2 more battalion news things to go over before we go.
Okay, I'll let you go.
No,
the
go,
battalion
go.
news.
Let's do it.
Well, this might be one of them. We're a little bit late to the party on this one, but the battalion signing Powassan Voodoo forward Rodion Tatarenko.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got in 16 games, 24 points for the Voodoos. 12 goals and 12 assists. So
correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a large kid, isn't he? Like he's
very tall. He's not he's kind of lanky, but
yeah.
At the NOJHL level, you don't need to worry about that. It's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to the OHL game when and if he gets there. If he comes up this year, he's more likely a guy next year. But Adam did say in the press release that he's going to be around if there's injuries and stuff like that. So that's 2 Voodoo's players that have signed now with the battalion. That's Chase McQueen Spence and Tatarenko, and they could not be on they play on the same line, but they could not be polar opposites in size. Like Chase McQueen Spence is just this tiny little ball of energy, and Rodion Tatarenko is just this tall, lanky kid. They're both super skilled players, though.
It's like Groot and Rocket Raccoon.
It's pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much it, yeah. Well, unless you're talking about Baby Groot, then it's kind of.
But one thing I like is they're going to incorporate these guys in like practices and whatnot, so they still get a feel for what it's like to be in the OHL. And if memory serves me right, tall, lanky kids tend to do okay on the battalion. I mean, I just think back to Justin Brazeau. He did okay for himself.
Yes. And don't forget, he played a whole 5 games for the Powassan Voodoos.
He did, and I think I remember I called those games when I was doing Timmins Rock games. I think.
You probably did, because that would have been the year before. Because your first year with the battalion,
16, 17.
Yeah, your first year was his second year because he scored like 10 or 15 of his 27 goals in the second half of the year. Because I used the great analogy when I interviewed him between periods once, and Bob Coles called me out on it because Bob Coles calls me out on everything.
As he should.
Yes, and I used this guy's heating up more than the kitchen stove or something like that. Something stupid. But
did Bob say where else would the stove be?
No, he just said, "Oh, I haven't heard that one before," or something like that. And I was just like, "Thanks, Bob." So
it always, side note, and we're off topic again. It always bugs me when I hear sunny skies. Where's the other sky that is sunny?
Yeah,
I hate when people do that. And like veteran weather reporters will say that. It's like, come on, use your brain.
That's just the media side of Tom coming out now.
I'm saying last bit of battalion news though, but it actually involves the NHL level this time. Matvey Petrov signs his entry-level contract with the Edmonton Oilers. I think they got a steal of a pick in that 6th round.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm comparing him to Andrei Svechnikov, but when you talk about guys who go first overall in the CHL draft, Svechnikov went 2nd overall or 3rd overall. Correct me if I'm wrong. To Carolina.
Oh yes, second overall, but first in the CHL.
Yes. So for Edmonton to kind of wait around till the 6th round to use a pick on Petrov, who we knew coming here was talented. He actually got to play last year in the MHL in Russia.
And lit it up.
Yeah, and now he's doing the same here. He's already got 2 hat tricks under his belt. And he scored the game-winning goal, which if the Battalion had only just scored his goal on Sunday's game against the Wolves, sucks to be you, Sudbury. He scored the game-winning goal, and it was a nice goal against Mitchell Weeks, who stood on his head against the Battalion this year. So, which I will say about that Sudbury game really quick. Mitchell Weeks is the only Wolf, I think, that can come out of that game and really hold his head high and be like, I did my end of the bargain, because he played fairly well. And then
37 saves.
Yeah. And then, 7-minute power play. You're expecting someone's going to score a couple of goals. So
just a little bit.
Yes.
No, congratulations to Matvey.
Yes.
And I can't believe somebody else didn't scoop him up before 6 rounds, but good on Edmonton to find him. And what is he? He's still top 10 in goals in the league. Yeah. I mean, he shoots, and it's a rocket every time.
I guess you could say he shoots, he scores.
All right.
We'll have to put in cricket sound effect or something in there. But yes, congratulations, Matt. Better. Yes. But yes. Congratulations, Matt Bay. We're very happy for you, and we can't wait to have you on the show eventually. So if you're listening to this.
Exactly. So let's our Battalion wrap up. They got some games coming up this weekend. You heard us talk about Ottawa, Niagara. Those are home games, and sandwiched in between, they got the Generals on a Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, 7:35 game time. And the rest of the games are normal 7 o'clock on Thursday, and then Sunday at 2, which are still, I love afternoon hockey. I can never have enough afternoon hockey.
No, it's great. You get out of there still. Well, not so much right now, but it still might be daylight. But yeah, no, it's afternoon hockey is great. And then you can still go home and have dinner with the family, or go out for, a pop or two after the game. And it's not like 11 o'clock at night. So,
well, I remember after one Christmas game against Peterborough, where one of the coaches swore on the air.
Oh, okay.
I remember that game. I went home after I had time. It was still nice enough. I drove back to my hometown in Timmins after the game for some Christmas vacation. So that's why I love afternoon games. You can kind of escape and do what you got to do. I think I got home around 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Timmins isn't a close drive. So 10 o'clock's pretty good, actually.
It was minus 33 too. Oh, what a night.
In Timmins, or the whole drive?
On the way, it was freezing. My windshield was frozen, and I couldn't. The windshield wipers did nothing. The goggles, they did nothing.
No. I've still to this day have never been to Timmins. Whenever I get to that turn off just past Matheson, I always have to go up towards Cochrane and not Timmins.
Well, next time you lose a bet, I'm sure you'll end up there.
Well, I might have to go up to Cochrane here soon. So not that I'm really complaining. This one's going to be a lot shorter stint than any other time that I've ever been there. So it might just be a there and back trip. So that might be interesting, as you know that highway very well.
Way too well. It's a dangerous highway. I don't like it. But now we're getting into some non-happy stuff. So bring it back towards hockey.
Yeah. So the Battalion. Hey, they've been doing pretty good. First in the Central Division at the time of this recording. So.
Hey, it's fantastic. I'm shocked, and I'm at a loss for words, because I never seen that in my time with the team. So it's fantastic to even fathom the fact they could win their division. I mean, it's still early, but if you want to use the NHL barometer, if you will, measuring stick, what is it, 60-70% of the teams who are in a playoff spot by the end of November, the U.S. Thanksgiving, usually make the playoffs. So I'm hoping for something good. It seems like they're ironing out some of the kinks. I'm liking it.
Yeah, and you know what? If they can play the way they played against Sudbury, they're probably not going to lose many games.
You're going to win a lot of games if you play like that.
Yeah, holding a team to 14 shots. I'm not a rocket scientist, but that's pretty good.
I ain't no scientician, but seems to me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
ain't no big city mathematician, but yes.
Yes. So I'm quite happy with the it's funny because I've talked to people before, and I know I've said this on the podcast before, but there was a part of me that was a little worried that maybe I've been drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too much over.
You're starting to turn green.
Yeah, kind of. Well, I was worried I was going to start bursting through walls and going, oh yeah, everywhere. But
all of a sudden, Kortney gets dressed up as Sarge and prowls the streets at night, saving people.
Well, okay, if it's saving people, I was going to say that's an image nobody wants to see. That'd be kind of scary, actually, to be honest with you. But
unless they were in danger. Anyway,
yes,
you're drinking Kool-Aid.
So I was a little bit worried that I've been drinking the Kool-Aid because we've had almost close to best friend of the show, Adam Dennis, on a bunch of times, and I'm like, wow, this team is exciting. This team's going to be great. And now if we could only just get them on the ice. And now we've got them on the ice, and they've been exciting. They've been great. So,
hey, you get what you asked for, and he said it. He didn't lie to us.
No, he didn't, which is kind of refreshing if you think about it. Like, it's kind of nice to have somebody not lie about, and this is coming out terribly. It's it's refreshing to have somebody hype something up and it be real.
That's a good way to put it. It's true. It's true. He not to hype him too much. I mean, as if he needs his tires pumped anymore. The PSI is already too high. It's going to burst. But
yeah, it's going to be like Tim Thomas and Roberto Luongo all through here, pumping tires.
But, almost everything you said about the players and how they've been acting, how they've talked to us even, has been dead on.
Yeah.
And it's nice when you know what you can expect, but then it matches what's up in here, right? Which doesn't happen too often. So I'm glad, they're talking about how awesome these kids are on and off the ice, and we get to live it. And hopefully when you listen, you get to hear it too, or watch it and experience how awesome it is through our eyes and your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We just had him on, obviously, this episode, Ty Nelson. He's definitely a team first guy, and he would never say it, but I brought up the stat of him being in the top point getters for defensemen this year. That's really impressive, and that's been a lot of them. Wakely's come on strong recently. Mathurin's been strong right from the get-go, with his two-way play. Romani's been in and out of the lineup. He's looked good. Sema, you can tell the game's starting to come. Govro just got he's been in and out of the lineup too, but just dropped the mitts, with Robinson on Sudbury on Sunday. So he's a tough customer. And DiVincentis and net's been fantastic.
Potaluch in the faceoff dot.
Potaluch,
I know Outwater's only got the one goal, and I was lucky enough to see it. Beautiful snipe shot.
Yep.
But it's all coming. Like, sometimes it doesn't click right away, but man, when it gets there, you watch out.
Yeah, it's something special, and there's a lot of special pieces on this team. And then as we talked to Ty a little bit about, if that other special piece and Adam Fantilli makes his way up here, that's even more exciting, right? So
I don't know if it's any kind of tampering, but anything he can do to help, I'll take.
Yeah, I don't know either. Maybe if Fantilli ever comes up here for a visit, it should be mandatory he comes on the podcast.
I think we get him on before that.
Yeah, get the whole experience. That way he knows what he's signing up. That might be a deterrent. Maybe we shouldn't have him on the podcast.
That's true. Who are these guys? How do you know my name?
Yeah. Why? Who are you? Why can I smell you through my computer?
My lawyers will be in contact.
Yes. We are never doing this ever again.
But as for us in the podcast, we will be doing it again. And who knows what magical guest we'll have on next time. So on that note, Kortney, what do you say we hit the old dusty trail?
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea for another week, Tom?
I agree. So on that note, our intrepid producer, as always, is Ben Sargent. He makes us sound fantastic. And if you're watching this on your TV, you can watch the full episode on YouTube. You can listen to it on Google Podcast, Apple Music, and anywhere, Spotify too, anywhere else you get your podcast. And follow us on our social media Follow us on game days with the actual broadcast. Matt Sukram, Kortney's there. Sometimes there's a handful of away games if they're brave enough. So
Yeah.
on that note, yes, you can find us all over the place. I'm Tom Parisi. He's Kortney Kenny. This was a lot of fun. And we're going to do it again sometime next week.